In late 2022, Disney found itself cornered. Streaming profits were sinking, park revenue was unstable, and Wall Street had lost confidence. Out of the shadows came Bob Iger, the retired CEO who once led Disney to dominance. His return wasn't nostalgia, it was necessity. The board needed a fixer, someone who understood the magic and the math, and Iger, he was ready to lead again. Just a year earlier, Iger had stepped away, retired at the peak, passing the torch to Bob Chapek. But Chapek's reign was rocky: controversial decisions, employee backlash, and falling subscriber growth. Behind the scenes, pressure built, and then, in a late-night board vote, Iger was back, not for legacy, but to course-correct, to rescue the kingdom he once ruled. Iger didn't return swinging, he listened. Behind closed doors, he met with teams, streaming parks, animation, asking hard questions. What's working, what's broken? He wasn't chasing applause, he was building clarity. Because before any bold move, great leaders do one thing first: observe with discipline. And in Disney's case, the diagnosis was blunt: too much spending, not enough soul. Iger's first big move wasn't flashy, it was surgical. He slashed content budgets, paused risky originals, and restructured Disney's media division. To some, it felt harsh. But Iger knew when a ship is off course, trimming the weight saves the mission. The goal: refocus on quality, not quantity. Fewer shows, bigger impact, and protect what mattered most: Disney's creative legacy. Iger knew Disney didn't need more content, it needed stronger stories. So he doubled down on proven brands: Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars. Instead of chasing trends, he reinforced identity. Every decision asked, is this Disney? He wanted audiences to feel magic again, not fatigue. In a world drowning in content, Iger was making fewer bets, but each one louder, cleaner, sharper. Under Iger, Disney's streaming strategy shifted from growth at any cost to profitability with purpose. Price hikes rolled out, password sharing cracked down, licensing reconsidered. The era of subscriber rush was over. Now it was about value per viewer. Iger wasn't chasing Wall Street hype, he was building long-term health. Streaming couldn't just look magical, it had to make money too. Investor Day 2023 was Iger's proving ground. With cameras rolling, he laid out a leaner, sharper Disney, prioritizing core brands, disciplined spending, and a clear path to streaming profits. The markets listened. Within hours, Disney stock ticked upward. Confidence wasn't just restored, it was earned. Iger didn't promise magic, he promised math, and in the boardroom, that's what casts real spells. Behind the numbers, Iger turned inward to the heart of Disney: storytelling. He greenlit fewer projects, demanded stronger scripts, and recentered creative teams around purpose, not pace. Some productions were paused, others were quietly shelved. It wasn't about speed, it was about soul. Because Iger understood, when the story is clear, the brand becomes unstoppable. And at Disney, clarity had been missing. Iger's restructuring went beyond content, it rewired the company itself. He dismantled Chapek's centralized structure, handing power back to creative heads. No more decisions by committee. Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm each regained autonomy. It was a shift from control to trust, because in Iger's world, great stories are built by empowered creators, not corporate bottlenecks. He wasn't just changing roles, he was reviving culture. Then came ESPN, a giant with massive reach but an unclear future. Iger didn't rush. He asked, should ESPN go fully digital, spin off, or partner with a tech giant? While others demanded fast answers, Iger played long-term chess. Because some decisions shape a decade, not a quarter. And for Disney, the future of ESPN wasn't just business, it was legacy. Whispers returned: what if Apple buys Disney? The rumor wasn't new. Jobs and Iger were close. Their companies once dreamed together. But now, in a post-legacy era, the question felt different. Was Disney ripe for acquisition, or was Iger simply shaping it to stand stronger alone? He never confirmed, but every move he made felt like this: prepare for anything, sell to no one. Behind the headlines, Iger worked on something quieter: rebuilding morale. After years of layoffs, creative tension, and public missteps, Disney's culture needed healing. Iger held town halls, met animators face-to-face, and asked one question: what do you need to create your best work again? It wasn't just PR, it was repair. Because companies don't bounce back with strategy alone, they rise when people believe again. Bob Iger didn't return to replay old hits. He returned to future-proof the brand. Every choice cost cuts, culture shifts, bold pivots. Wasn't about nostalgia, it was about longevity. He wasn't just fixing Disney for now. He was preparing it for whoever leads next. That's legacy. Not just what you build, but what you leave ready to evolve. And for Iger, the real magic is in the handoff. But even comebacks have deadlines. Iger's contract ends in 2026, and he's made it clear there won't be another return. This time, the exit must stick. That means grooming a successor, locking strategy, and leaving a playbook that lasts. Because Disney doesn't just need a leader, it needs direction that outlives the leader. And Iger knows the final act of leadership is letting go. When Iger finally steps away, he won't leave behind just numbers or headlines. He'll leave behind a philosophy that creativity must lead, culture must breathe, and strategy must serve both. In a company built on fantasy, he brought structure. In chaos, he brought calm, and in the end, his comeback wasn't just a return, it was a reset, one only a builder could make. Iger knows the hardest part isn't fixing Disney, it's finding someone who can keep it fixed. His previous handoff didn't go as planned. Now he's cautious, names swirl internally, but no heirs crowned. He's watching, mentoring, calculating. Because this time there's no room for error. The next CEO won't just inherit a company, they'll inherit a vision sharpened by crisis. And Iger's watching every move. While headlines chase Iger's successor inside Disney, something deeper is brewing. He's quietly investing in the next generation of creative leaders. Young executives, fresh directors, first-time showrunners. Iger giving them stakes in the future, not just seats, but say. Because he knows Disney's next golden era won't be built by legacy, it'll be built by boldness. And this time, the future won't wait for permission. Even as he empowers new voices, Iger remains the quiet guardian of Disney's soul. He monitors branding, checks scripts, even steps into marketing calls, not to control, but to protect. Because at Disney, one bad move can ripple across franchises, families, and decades. Iger's comeback isn't just about repair, it's about legacy insurance. And while others see IPs and margins, he still sees magic. Iger knew theme parks weren't just assets, they were emotional engines. Under his return, investment in parks shifted, fewer expansions, more experience-driven upgrades. From ride tech to food storytelling, every inch became intentional. Less spectacle, more soul, because families don't just buy tickets, they buy memories. And Iger's insight, if the parks feel magical again, the brand heals everywhere else. Iger didn't just look inward, he looked outward. Disney's global footprint had grown fast but uneven. Now he's tailoring strategy for each region, culturally tuned content, local park updates, and partnerships with foreign studios. The goal, magic that speaks the local language. Because for Iger, global expansion isn't about duplication, it's about adaptation. And that shift could be Disney's most powerful growth story yet. Innovation sounds magical, but Iger knows it's expensive. Behind every breakthrough, enhanced animation, immersive park tech, real-time VFX are risks, budgets, and deadlines. Some bets will fail, others will redefine Disney's future. But that's the trade-off Iger accepts: stay safe and stagnate, or invest and evolve. Because in his world, if Disney isn't innovating, it's already falling behind. As AI sweeps through Hollywood, Iger treads carefully. He sees the power, faster production, smarter personalization, deeper audience insight. But he also sees the threat: creativity without heart, stories without soul. So Disney experiments, but under Iger's rule, tech serves story, never replaces it. In an age of algorithms, he's betting on a truth older than any code: emotion still wins. While Iger rebuilds Disney, new challengers rise. Netflix sharpens its global grip, Amazon buys its way into Hollywood, and TikTok redefines attention. But Iger isn't chasing headlines. He's watching patterns, protecting Disney's core, timeless IP, multi-platform synergy, emotional trust. Because he knows the real threat is who's loudest, it's who earns loyalty quietly, daily. And Iger, he's playing a longer game than most realize. Behind closed doors, Iger's team refines a simple but powerful framework: brand, story, scale. Every pitch, project, and partnership is filtered through these three words. If it doesn't serve the brand, deepen the story, or scale the business, it's cut. Ruthless, maybe, but necessary, because legacy isn't about saying yes. It's about knowing what to say no to, and that's where real discipline lives. Time is narrowing. With just months left on his contract, Iger begins tying knots only he can see. He's reviewing succession plans, testing crisis protocols, even rehearsing investor messaging without being asked. Because for him, exit isn't an event, it's a process. A checklist built not for ego, but endurance. And one day soon, when the handoff finally comes, everything will already be in motion. There won't be fanfare, no teary goodbyes. When Iger finally leaves, it'll be like how he returned: quiet, focused, intentional. No spotlight needed, just a final email, a handshake, maybe a glance at the castle one last time. Because true leaders don't exit for applause, they exit so the story can go on without them. And Iger, he was never the main character, he just protected the script. Iger didn't just turn Disney around, he left behind a blueprint. Not a manual, but a mindset laid with empathy. Scale with clarity, create with courage. His legacy isn't a building or a brand, it's a rhythm embedded in the company's DNA. So even when his name fades from headlines, the way he thought, decided, and built, that stays. That's the real magic, that's the real handoff. Still, one question haunts the boardroom: what if Iger's successor stumbles again? What if Disney needs saving one more time? It's a scenario nobody wants, but everyone quietly prepares for. Because in a company this iconic, failure isn't just financial, it's cultural. So even now, backup plans sit in sealed folders, and somewhere in Burbank a chair still sits, unofficially reserved, just in case. Through every crisis, pandemics, failures, missteps, Disney survived because it never stood still. It adapted, reinvented, dreamed louder. That spirit didn't start with Iger, and it won't end with him. But under his watch, that spirit was sharpened. Now Disney stands at the edge of its next evolution: unknown, risky, exciting. The question is whether the company will change. The question is who will shape what comes next. Bob Iger showed the world that great leadership isn't about being irreplaceable, it's about making others ready. Now the script is blank, the seat is warm, and the next architect of the Magic Kingdom may already be watching, listening, learning. So here's the real question: in a world full of brands, who dares to lead with vision? Maybe the next Iger isn't coming back, maybe they're rising now.